Good
Dude.
evening, my darling batlings. In case you can't tell, I'm still sick. And I had a few people ask me like, "Hey, are you just sick, or are you sick?" And my answer was yes. So yeah, thankfully it turned out to not be the ick. Instead, it's probably like the flu or something. I can deal with it. Hey,
Oh,
Timo.
hey, Timo.
Hello. We're doing Sonic Heroes tonight, and I forgot to set that as the stream title. Let me fix that.
Webs.
You can tell that I'm still not all here. Let me fix that.
That's no good.
Yeah, that is actually a fitting use of "that's no good."
But yeah, here's the thing, Ari, you're just like me now. We're here, but we're not all there.
Oh, I've been not all there my whole life. It's called having both autism and ADHD. It's fun.
Yeah.
Except for when it isn't.
Yep.
There we go. It should be updated now. You're going over all the achievements in the first 3 expansions of Final Fantasy XIV. Interesting. Dare I say, that is quite... It has me quite intrigued.
It's Shrek Wade.
You're not plotting, you're scheming. There's a difference. I will make sure not to thwart your plans. I don't want to end up getting threatened like Vegeta threatens Krillin and Gohan in Dragon Ball Z Abridged. What are you doing? Thwarting my plans? Are you? The voice isn't quite there.
Yeah.
Anywho's, it's I got a new external SSD to replace my trusty old external HDD that finally kicked the bucket. It still boots up, but it will not allow me to write anything to it, so that was the problem.
Oh, good.
So we're playing this on the fork of Dolphin for the Xbox Series S, because I don't feel like hooking up the GameCube. That's too much hassle.
Yeah.
Says the guy who hooked up the PS3. That's even more of a hassle to even get video out of. My excuse is I'm sick. Give me a break.
Yeah.
All right, so let's I found that using the external SSD improves performance a lot compared to the HDD or previously the flash drive that I was using, where it would like stutter every 2 seconds to compile shaders. It still stutters every now and then, but then it's only for a couple seconds and then it's like smooth afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. And stop the fitting, but not for this game. Sonic Colors music. And there's gonna be a lot of shader compiling. It's gonna save us hassle in the long run. Low brain wrinkle plan, best plan right now. Exactly. Make a plan that's so stupid that no one will suspect it. That's how you get the drop on people.
Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to... Make the plan.
There? I think I'm the one that's supposed to be out of it, not you.
I fumbled the line, okay? So sue me.
Gladly, I'll see you in court.
You'll have to deal with my lawyer.
I'm aware of your lawyer, And you know what? I'll represent myself in court. They say that only fools represent themselves in court, but I'm not just a fool. I'm the whole damn court entertainment.
Good
I don't know what you call a group of jesters. It's not a circus.
No,
Because jesters are not a circus thing.
No. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Including the dancing lobsters? Yes, especially including the dancing lobsters. Oh, I almost forgot. We have to wait on the title screen to see the opening cutscene. Because unlike other Sonic games, this one doesn't start with the opening. Also, I'm glad that you made the Dancing Lobsters reference. That show was a big part of my childhood. It's also what taught me what a lobster is.
Yes, lobster.
I'm like, I am the 0.1% of people that were actually invested in the plot of Moody's Point.
Yes, the lobster. A very delicious piece of seafood. Love it.
It is a sea bug, and I will never eat one.
You're missing out, dude. Like, apparently my old job made and sold. Like,
although I will say as a metalhead, it's pretty metal the way that you cook them.
Yeah.
Like boiling something alive so it shrieks and turns red and dies, that's metal as fuck.
But yeah, at my old job, we actually made and sold, like, in my opinion, the best lobster rolls in the city.
Fun fact, did you know that California rolls were invented solely because us stupid Americans didn't want to eat seaweed, so they put the rice on the outside so they could hide the seaweed and trick us into eating it? I'm not even making that up. That was the idea behind the creation of the California roll. Hey, breaded chicken breast, you bathe the mother in the essence of the child. Exactly, that's metal as fuck too. Well, it depends on whether you're giving an egg wash or whether you're skipping that step. I always go for the egg wash. It adds to the flavor. Gig says, a game from a long time past takes me back. Hello, Gig. I agree. Sonic Heroes takes me back because it came out around my birthday that year. A little bit before, but I went to GameStop afterwards. So that was my dad's birthday gift to me. It was during his weekly visit. He came to get dinner with me after school. And he took me to GameStop to get a game of my choice. I got Sonic Heroes for the GameCube.
My condolences.
That's the good version.
I know. I'm just still messing with you. The fact that you actually got a Sonic game after they became very buggy during the 3D era.
Well, the 3D era is the early 3D era, like the Adventure era, as it's known in the fandom, is one of my favorite eras of Sonic. I'll take I'm willing to give it a pass for like bugs and odd design choices because people were still figuring out 3D at that time.
Yeah.
Like, it was an unexplored territory. It was like space. Or the deeps, or the dark depths of the ocean, according to Zoo Books commercials. Okay, so shader compilation decided to happen mid-cutscene and just cut out the audio for a sec.
Long time no see.
Sonic, check this out.
the most annoying voice for
Yeah,
Tails.
this is the worst Tails voice, bar none. Last time that Dean Bristow voiced Sonic in a mainline game before he passed away, rest in peace, Chad.
Oh shit!
Also, I wonder if I always wondered if like that was Sonic imagining Eggman talking to him, or if Eggman invented paper that plays video messages while also having the words written on it. Because that seems like something he would do.
Yeah. Ow, foot. Lovely.
Also, the game that introduced Team Chaotix to me, even though it's technically not the game any of them debuted in. Holographic paper and none the fun and shiny sense. Yeah, it's not like he's banned from all the stationery stores or whatever you would call them. So he had to invent his own, and he made it better. He's like, it was like the I'll make my own with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the blackjack. Do you think Eggman ever gets lonely and invents sex bots? This is the kind of stuff that comes into my mind when I'm zooted out of my mind due to illness. So prepare for potentially more unhinged stuff than usual. See, I'm glad someone agrees with me, because that was the plot of a whole episode of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, was him inventing a robo-wife for himself.
Level up. Got it.
Oh, jeez.
So there was at least one version of Robotnik who's like, if I can't get laid, then I'll invent someone to get laid. He takes matters into his own hands instead of stewing in resentment about it. And that's another reason why the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog version of Robotnik is the best.
Level up.
He also invented his own son. That is, I believe, also a robot. Robotnik Jr. So,
Oh yeah, I remember.
he could have had a whole Robo family if Sonic hadn't intervened.
That's it.
Damn that hedgehog.
I got it. Leave it to me.
Best content. Yeah, the unhinged, because I'm like half conscious due to whatever circumstances cause it content is the best kind of content. Just look at any stream that Iron Mouse does where she's zooted from the medication, from the pain medication that she takes or whatever it is that leads to her being like particularly gremlin-esque. And then she doesn't remember any of it and has to look back at clips from those streams to be reminded of what she said.
Tails, flying enemies are all yours. Attack them with thunder shoots.
I'm just happy that Iron Mouse got both of her YouTube channels back without too terribly much trouble, even if she did have to get the VShojo legal department involved in order to get them back.
Yeah.
It, like, that whole scenario goes to show, like, when people say that YouTube's copyright system is broken, they usually mean, like, oh, my video got taken down for using copyrighted content. Where, like, no, it's like this was someone maliciously targeting her to get her personal info.
Yep.
Like, that is how it's broken. The other issue is not an issue with YouTube's copyright system, it's an issue with US copyright law.
Right.
Like, YouTube's just in that case where like stuff gets falsely taken down by like Content ID or like companies claiming it on the behalf of larger companies. That's just YouTube abiding by the way that our law works, which has not been updated in any meaningful way since 1998.
Lovely.
And every time they tried to do an update to it, it's always it's always them trying to update it to make it even worse and give even more power to media corporations to police the internet and scrub anything that they disagree with.
Yep.
That's how we got stuff like SOPA. Pippa, I believe, was the other counterpart to it that was going on at the same time.
Yeah, I think that was another one, yeah.
I believe if they had actual humans. Yeah, but that would require one of the richest companies in the world, Google, to pay people. And how are they supposed to give their executives multi-million-dollar bonuses every year if they pay people to do jobs instead of leaving it to poorly programmed AI? I don't believe that AI is the future because Google has sufficiently proven that AI is fucking stupid.
Yep.
They've been leaving their site to be managed by bots for over a decade now, and it has just progressively gotten worse, which is why I'm not afraid of, like, a Skynet situation happening. If anything, it would just implode on itself.
Hey,
no, not HIPAA, Pippa. It was, like, SOPA was like the House counterpart, and Pippa was the Senate counterpart. And it failed in both because of massive public outpouring. Like, SOPA was Stop Online Piracy Act, and Pippa was like Prevent Internet Piracy Act. I remember all that going on because I was heavily involved with all that discourse. I even bought a official, like, Stop SOPA t-shirt being sold by one of the organizations that was crowdsourcing to try and, you know, put out an advertising campaign to raise public awareness about it. And it got me a lot of weird questions from people on my college campus asking, like, oh, so do you support piracy in that case? And, you know, obviously I can't say yes to that to most people because they won't understand how piracy is important for media preservation.
Right.
But it's like, the problem there was that it wasn't targeting piracy. It was targeting just, like, randos on the internet and making... Yep. And it was so broadly worded that it could make, like, just posting a clip that happens to have a song in the background playing on, like, the radio punishable by jail time and monetary fines.
Yep.
That was tight!
It was targeting content creators in general. Yes, exactly. Like, anytime that you see the big media corporations backing a copyright update bill like that, you know it's going to turn out horribly because they're only going to back it if it's something that gives them even more power than they already have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also why, like, this is getting surprisingly deep for a Sonic Hero stream. I don't think that copyright law is going to be meaningfully updated in any good way until after the baby boomer generation has either stepped down from power or just died out entirely, because they're the generation that's the least involved with the internet and therefore doesn't understand how it works, so they shouldn't be allowed to legislate it.
Yes, but then there's, you know, the Patriots.
No, you see, Metal Gear Solid 4 has already happened, so the Patriots are long gone. The Patriots were wiped out like a decade ago, I think? If I remember correctly, I believe Metal Gear Solid 4 took place in 2014, if I'm getting my timeline correct.
EggNet defense system now activated.
Also, speaking of stuff related to things that Eggman did, I like that the first episode of that new Shadow miniseries leading up to Sonic S Shadow Generations referenced that the moon was blown in half by the Space Colony arc instead of just the usual thing of pretending that it either didn't happen or it just fixed itself. Like that whole it's only one episode out now so far. I don't know how many episodes it's gonna be. But the first episode was fantastic, and Kirk Thornton is really getting better over time as Shadow.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I liked it.
And it's also, funnily enough, the first time Maria has had a speaking role in over a decade, almost 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Because the last time she appeared as a character who had any spoken dialogue was in Shadow the Hedgehog in 2005.
Yeah.
And not only do I love Maria's new voice, I love the redesign they gave her to make her look more, like, accurate to her age instead of just making her look, like, kind of adult-like, but, like, it's weird because, like, she debuted in that early era of 3D when they hadn't figured out how kids should look in 3D yet.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be, like, 12 years old, but you wouldn't get that from how she looks in Sonic Adventure 2. Whereas her redesign for a lot of modern Sonic social media stuff, as well as the Dark Beginnings miniseries, makes her look not only cute, but also like, you know, a kid instead of just an adult that acts like a kid.
Yeah, no. From what I've gathered, it sounds like the old 3D version of her, like when they first tried to do it. I was just basically like, she just looked like a little person almost.
It's not even that she looked like a little person. It's that they kind of got her proportions a bit off for how she should be scaled next to Shadow. So she like towers over him instead of just being like a foot or so taller than him.
Right.
And then she looks like a bug-eyed alien in Shadow the Hedgehog. They really fucked up her eyes with trying too hard to make her cute and instead made her look creepy.
Oh, jeez.
Like, obviously she should be taller than Shadow because she's a human and Shadow is only 3 feet tall. But she would be like, I think 4 foot something, not like 6 feet, judging by how tall she was compared to him in Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
Not like Eggman's height.
No. Like, Eggman's tall, but he's like abnormally tall.
I also like that they directly reference the fact that she has a illness that they're trying to cure, which is something they've never actually brought up in the games before, even though it's canon.
Yeah, and I also like
it was only brought up in posts on the Japanese Sonic the Hedgehog website, Sonic Channel.
Yeah.
Like, if you were a Western gamer who wasn't actively following, who wasn't, like, actively deep into the Sonic lore, you would never know what the hell they were trying to do on the Space Colony arc.
Yeah. Like, I did like how it's like Shadow flat out stated that the reason why he's the ultimate life form is because he's supposed to be able to be like, you know, the secret to the cure for Maria.
Yeah, he's supposed to be immune to all disease, and therefore they should be able to synthesize a vaccine to any disease known to man from his, from him.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he's the ultimate life form, not like, oh, he's the best at fighting, which is how it's been portrayed in a lot of media to both Shadow's benefit and detriment.
Yeah.
With the context that Professor Gerald was trying to cure his granddaughter's genetic illness, it adds to, like, how anyone could potentially not see him as a mad scientist.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you were only aware of how he was portrayed in the games, without any supplementary material, you would think, how did anyone not think that giving this man a space station and alien contact and the ability to make super weapons that can destroy planets. How would anyone think that was a good idea?
Press the B button to power up.
What I don't understand is what was the, how the hell did he get the go-ahead to build the fucking space laser that looks like his, looks like both him and his grandson's face?
Well, we might find that out in one of the next episodes because they're delving into Shadow's past, or even in Sonic X Shadow Generations itself. We don't know.
I would just like.
My guess is like the whole thing was being funded by the United Federation's government, which is like the Sonic World's equivalent to the United States government.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about the United States, it's that they'll okay any kind of stuff as long as they can use it as a weapon potentially.
Right. I just like how it's like, oh yeah, it's a space laser, but it's pointing down.
Well, canonically, the reason that he built the space laser was not to destroy Earth, but instead to destroy the Black Comet, which is the home world of the Black Arms aliens that he made a deal with to get the biological material he needed to create Shadow. And they're supposed to come back in 50 years to wipe out all life on Earth, which is the plot of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Like, the Eclipse Cannon was meant to be used for good, but the United Federation launching their raid on the Space Colony Ark and killing everyone on board, including his granddaughter, kind of fucked him up mentally. He's like, okay, I see how this can be used as a weapon to destroy Earth now.
Yeah.
And the reason that something else that was explained in supplementary material is like the entire idea to use it against Earth that Shadow gave to Eggman to use it as like a terrorist weapon. Like Shadow's whole like acting as a villain in Sonic Adventure 2 was like while after the raid on the Ark, Professor Gerald had been captured by Gunn and forced to continue working on research for super weapons. And during that time, he secretly programmed Shadow to basically destroy the Earth in revenge.
Oh, I see.
Including planting false memories in him, which is why he believes that he's supposed to avenge Maria's death instead of save the Earth.
Yeah.
I love Shadow, but yeah, they've done him shady in games for portrayal. Especially post Sonic 06, they really did him dirty because partly because of some like very strict mandates that Sega had that went completely against his established character. And partly because the writing duo that was in charge of a lot of the stories at that time just didn't know Sonic characters because they were not Sonic fans going in.
Yeah.
Like, they had previously written for Mad World, which shows that they can write some great stuff. But do you want to know what they were most known for being writers for before getting the job as the head writing team of Sonic for a decade straight?
What?
They were the writers for the web series Happy Tree Friends.
Oh, boy.
Not exactly fit to write something like Sonic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, not to shit on Happy Tree Friends. That's an internet classic that traumatized a generation. But, like, I don't get the idea behind putting them in charge of writing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
If they clearly aren't up to the task.
Right.
It would be like, not to say like comedy writers could never write anything else, because comedy writers and directors have gone on to do great things. Hell, Jordan Peele was most known for Mad TV and Key and Peele before becoming an acclaimed horror director.
Yeah.
But like, when your only writing work previously is like edgy shock comedy, I don't think you're quite fit to write a children's mascot platformer series
Yeah.
without overcompensating for the childishness, which is absolutely what they did.
There's no way out this time. Give yourself
I'll be back.
Okay. But yeah, I like that they're... Not only is Ian Flynn doing his best to get Shadow back on track as a character, Sega's seemingly realized that they have been way too strict with Shadow's portrayal in a way that actively hampers him as a character and regresses him to a point that's even worse than how he started out. And they seem to be, you know, getting the stick out of their ass in that regard. Like, to give you an idea of some of the Sega mandates in regards to Shadow that we actively know of, one of them was, like, Team Dark is not a thing. Shadow always acts as a loner unless assigned on a mission to work with other people. And I'm like, that is actively the opposite of how he was portrayed.
and show him the real.
Have no fear, Eggman's here.
Welcome back. You caught me continuing my Shadow rant about the really stupid mandates that Sega had that everyone had to abide to, including Ian Flynn for most of the early IDW run up until very recently.
Oh, wow.
One of them being, one of the most contentious in the fandom being that Team Dark is not actually a thing. Shadow doesn't view them as like friends or colleagues or people that he's close to. They're just like work partners, and that he only works with them if he absolutely has to, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, that is the exact opposite of how Shadow, Rouge, and Omega have always been portrayed. What the hell are you talking about? Why is this a mandate? That's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
But that's part of why Shadow's very out of focus in early IDW, if you notice. Because Ian Flynn didn't want to write Shadow badly, so he just didn't write him at all.
That's fair.
Got it. Yeah. Here we go.
Look at all those Eggman robots!
Level up.
Like, seriously, who thought it was a good idea to have this person voice Tails?
Ready anytime.
I mean, we don't know how the recording process for the English dub went, but if you look at the credits, there's a few people, including Tails' voice actor and the voice director, that have the same last name. So it's like, oh, it was probably a family thing.
Yeah.
Given that this game had apparently a pretty rushed development, you know, a Sonic game being rushed, perish the thought.
Right.
I imagine that the localization process was even more rushed, given how many errors they are in the English script. You know, one of the most famous from Tails being, "Look at all those Eggman's robots."
Yeah.
Also, I'm not gonna hold it against Tails' voice actor in this game for turning in a bad performance, because he was only like 6 or 8 years old.
I get it. I'm not saying anything against the
It was
kid.
it was like official policy at the time to cast kids of that age range to play Tails. It was even like that in the cartoons of that time. It wasn't until Sonic X and Shadow the Hedgehog that we finally got an adult voicing Tails and sounding somewhat decent.
That's
As a
fair.
result, for, you know, not having a kid with very little acting experience voicing a major character in one of the games.
Right.
Like, the same was true in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Tails in both of those games were voiced by 2 kids from the same family. Older brother in Sonic Adventure 1 and a younger brother in Sonic Adventure 2. because the older brother's voice had changed too much in between 1 and 2 to continue using it.
Yeah.
It's a similar case, like a similar case I can think of that's like also very divisive in the fandom, but like it makes sense when you think about the logistics behind, you know, having kids voice kids. Is a lot of people don't like Susan Roman's portrayal of Mega Man in Mega Man Legends 2, but I'm like, the only reason they went with her, aside from her being, you know, a genuinely talented voice actress, if a bit underrated, is that the guy they had voicing Mega Man in Legends 1, he hit puberty in between, and his voice was too deep.
Yep.
Like, that is the risk you run when you have kids voicing kids. Just look at The Amazing World of Gumball. They had a new kid voicing Gumball, like, every season.
Yep. I mean, I never watched Amazing World of Gumball. I couldn't
They even
stand
made
the show.
I haven't watched much of it, but I've been told that they even make a joke in one of the seasons about how they had to keep on replacing the main character with a new voice actor damn near every season.
Oh, jeez. Out of curiosity, was that something that influenced the joke we were writing
No,
into?
that was actually a thing from the Legend of Spyro trilogy. Where that's actually a line that Sparks says in the beginning of the third Legend of Spyro game, because Sparks was voiced by a different actor, none of which sounded remotely similar to each other in each entry of the Legend of Spyro trilogy. He was voiced by David Spade in the first game, Billy West in the second game, and Wayne Brady in the third.
Because I remember we were writing a joke into our Armada Bridge where it was like every time Hotshot.
Yeah,
I didn't
because
realize where that joke came from.
We've went through so many hotshots that all sound distinctly different from each other, and that my idea was like, just go full Legend of Spyro from it and acknowledge that the voice of one of the main characters keeps on changing very frequently and none of them sound like each other. And just straight up bring up the line of, I'm doing great, my voice keeps changing, but other than that...
Because I literally I never knew it. I couldn't remember what exactly influenced that joke.
It was Legend of Spyro.
Okay. Because
that's one of the funnier instances of them acknowledging that they've changed voice actors, in my opinion.
Okay.
The funniest being not a voice actor, but changing actors in a live-action movie was in the second George of the Jungle movie, when they show George and he's not played by Brendan Fraser. He's like, studio too cheap to hire Brendan Fraser. Me, new George.
Yeah, it's like the narrator's like, well, how did you get the part? New George just lucky, I guess.
Here we go.
Like, that in itself was funny.
Yeah. You know, it's easy to forget that George of the Jungle started out as a cartoon made by the same production studio and creative mind that gave us Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also easy to forget that Weird Al did his own version of the George of the Jungle theme that was not included in the George of the Jungle movie.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no, my controller batteries are low. It's breaking the illusion that I'm playing on a GameCube. Good thing I've got a big pack of batteries.
Ugh.
Yes.
Ugh.
Speaking of, going back to when I said, like, last mainline game to feature Dean Bristow, this was the last mainline game to feature the Adventure Cast in general. The next few games that they'd voice in were Game Boy Advance games. With the last one overall that featured this cast being Sonic Advance 3.
Oh, sweet.
Like, they didn't record extensive dialogue for it, but they did record a few sound bites for that game. Because, you know, you can't really expect full voice-acted dialogue on a Game Boy Advance. And in the few games that do have full voice-acted dialogue, it sounds fucking terrible due to having to compress it so much to fit on a Game Boy Advance cartridge.
Yep.
Just look at Game Boy Advance Video. Objectively a terrible video format, but it's so cool at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially since people have found out ways to turn, like, regular videos into Game Boy Advance Video compatible formats and, like, put it on a Game Boy Advance ROM. I'm not saying I've done that, but I am saying that, that thanks to me, there exists a Game Boy Advance ROM version of the Sexy Dynamite scene from Digimon Frontier. It's a bitch to use that program, because half the time it just fails to compile the video. Like, it only likes certain video formats and certain bit rates. It's, like, very picky in general. You're not gonna get, like, an HD 60 FPS video file on there, for example.
Yeah.
Let's head up there.
You have to, like, compress the shit out of it first, or just export it as a low-quality file to begin with.
Oh, lovely.
Let's go.
But I am also saying, thanks to me, there now exists a Game Boy Advance Video version on an old dead computer of mine of the entire movie of Plan 9 from Outer Space. You know, in case you want to watch Plan 9 from Outer Space on a car trip and the only thing you have that can play videos is a Game Boy Advance.
Oh, yeah.
Which, even in the era that Game Boy Advance Video was out, was not a likely case due to portable DVD players being commonplace at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's be honest, you didn't buy a Game Boy Advance Video for a good video watching experience. Hey, Chris. You didn't buy a Game Boy Advance Video for a good, like, way to watch TV shows or movies. You bought it because it was TV shows and movies on a Game Boy Advance, and that was cool.
Yeah.
It's not even like they had a good selection of TV shows and movies. It was mostly Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, one volume of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which wasn't even the beginning of the series. I have this one still. It was just the two-part episode where Yugi duels Joey in Battle City.
Ow.
That is the only Yu-Gi-Oh! One that made it to Game Boy Advance Video. There were a couple Pokemon ones. There were several releases of Shrek and Shark Tale, including a dual pack of both movies on one cartridge. Which is interesting because, one, in order to fit both movies on one cartridge, they had to cheese grate the shit off of the picture quality and lower the frame rate to, like, slideshow levels. But also, it technically makes it the largest Game Boy Advance cartridge released in terms of file size. Like, bigger than any games.
Got it. Here we go.
And there were, like, a couple of Nickelodeon cartridges of various series, mostly All Grown Up. All Grown Up got a few, like, multiple cartridges, which I find weird. It's hard to remember that there was a time where Nickelodeon was pushing All Grown Up as their next big series.
Yeah.
Ladyboy Advance. Nah, Ladyboy Advance is the knockoff that you get in Thailand.
Got it. Here we go.
Let's see.
Got it.
Hey, Knuckles, what genre of music is Imagine Dragons? There you go. There's the obligatory shit rock meme. I am a dedicated Imagine Dragons hater because I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, they were so good until they went mainstream. I'm like, nah, they always sucked.
Like, I guess, you know, I guess you're probably gonna be like, I don't care too much for Imagine Dragons, but I did like maybe a couple of their songs. That's really it. It's like maybe one or two
The
songs
only thing I like them for is unintentionally giving us the "This is my kingdom come" meme.
Yeah.
Like, if it weren't for them existing and being popular on the radio, we never would have gotten that masterpiece.
Yeah.
Got it.
Leave it to me. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go.
And to think that one's not even the worst of their songs. The worst is probably Believer, because it just hurts to listen to it. Because you can tell the singer is straining his vocal cords to fail to hit that high note that consists of the entire chorus. It's all in a register that he does not have, so why didn't he just lower the key of the song so it's actually in his register? Yeah, I forget. I always forget that song was made for fucking League of Legends.
Yep.
Because it has fuck all to do with League of Legends. Then again, most of the League of Legends songs have nothing to do with League of Legends. And that's to their benefit. Because if League of Legends songs were accurate reflections of the League of Legends experience, it would just be a lot of swearing, angry yelling, and slurs. Or so I've been told. I don't play League of Legends. I play good games.
Yeah.
I play good games like Sonic 06 and Ride to Hell Retribution. You know, I play the games that are so good that they end up on the Wikipedia page for games notable for negative reception. And one that I'll never get to play in my exploration of that list is Concord, because it's gone. It's gone, and I don't think there's even gonna be like a lost media community trying to preserve some sort of fan server for it, because that would require it to have fans.
The fuck was Concord?
Oh, it's that $400 million PlayStation exclusive multiplayer shooter live service game that they were hyping up for the better part of this year, that was apparently in development for about a decade, that came out, no one liked it, and they took it down within 2 weeks and refunded everyone who bought it.
I remember now.
See, it's so forgettable that you already forgot that it happened.
Yep.
Yeah, it was an Overwatch clone about a decade too late. Like, no one's making Overwatch clones anymore because Overwatch has already claimed that market.
And honestly, why would you anyway? Why would you want to make an Overwatch clone?
If anything, there's no point in making an Overwatch clone nowadays, because that would mean you're competing with Overwatch 2, and no one likes Overwatch 2 to begin with, so why would you try to make something similar to it?
Yeah.
Like, even the people that avidly play Overwatch 2 do not like Overwatch 2, from what I've seen.
And, you know, if you like Overwatch 2,
if you like Overwatch 2, you're entitled to your shit opinion.
yeah.
You're entitled to your objectively incorrect opinion. I will fight to the death for you to have your wrong opinion that I will endlessly make fun of you for.
I'm looking at you, nerd E ferret.
Yes!
People only
As
know
I am.
Overwatch because of the porn. I love that Overwatch and BioShock Infinite are only remembered in like the pop culture zeitgeist for them leading to genuine revolutions in 3D animated porn.
A big tough.
Jeez.
But that's a discussion for a totally different site.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm opening an OnlyFans. I'm saying I've thought about it just so I could stream games that would get me banned on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, not even to post, like, you know, sussy stuff of myself, but just so I could have a place to do sussy streams of sussy games that I can't do on here. And it would probably pay better than Twitch.
Probably.
Like I would be the one guy on OnlyFans that's not on there to make a living as a sex worker. I would be the one guy that's like, I just want to stream games that I can't stream anywhere else. I just want to stream Senran Kagura with the nude mods enabled, okay? Or I just want to stream Senran Kagura in general, because even though it's technically not banned under Twitch's TOS, they still strike streams of it a lot because they keep on mistaking it for an adult game.
Ah, boy.
JoeCat has an OnlyFans. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Markiplier has one too.
Oh, boy.
He only opened one because he said he would if he got, like, a certain subscriber count or some sort of, like, thing his community had to work towards.
Amy, what are you doing here?
Sonic, this time there's no way out of marrying me.
God damn it, Amy. Give it a rest.
You know, I've known people like Amy that are like, if you won't love me, then I'll beat the love into you.
Sonic, give up. This time you're mine. I'll do my best.
Amy, knock it off. There's no time to play.
I had so much trouble with the team battles as a kid, but now I know the ultimate winning strategy. Just spam the tornado move. Works every time.
Just give up. You're starting to make me really
If you're,
mad.
especially if you're playing as Team Rose, you can win all of these fights in just a few seconds.
Oh, wow.
Marriage? No way!
Marriage? Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
Boy, Amy sure doesn't give up that easy. What is this place? Sure is bright here. We got some time. Feeling
I would say, Knuckles, you're in Vegas, but no, this is the evil version of Vegas, so it's Atlantic City.
Casino.
buildings and roads are all part of a pinball table.
Oh boy, time for me to fuck around with bad pinball physics, my favorite set of stages in this game.
Hey, there they are. I'll take care.
Those are Eggman's
When you-
robots.
When you were talking about this game being buggy, you were probably thinking of just this stage and the one after it, where the
Yeah,
pinball physics just do not work as intended.
Yeah, I think that actually was what I was thinking about.
But that's not like the game being buggy. That's just bad physics for a mechanic that the game is not normally built around. That is only in
Yeah.
2 stages of the whole game. The problem is you
That's
have to
fair.
play those 2 stages 4 different times.
Oh, lovely.
Here we go. Yes.
Like, here's my hot take. Pinball physics have never been good in any Sonic game. Like, they weren't even good in the classic games. Like, the pinball sections in a lot of Sonic games are the ones I dread the most.
Slot machine. Press the A button to stop the reels from spinning. Got it. Got it. Here we go. There they are.
And you know what? I don't blame Sonic Team for having trouble throughout the decades with getting the pinball physics right, because anyone who's dabbled with game programming before will know that the hardest thing to accurately replicate in physics is anything involving a ball.
Yeah.
Especially pinball, because pinball is like, it has to feel absolutely perfect, otherwise it feels terrible. It has to feel just like a real pinball machine, and if even one aspect of it is not 100% correct, the whole thing feels off.
Oh, wow.
Here we go.
Like, the two hardest let me rephrase that. The two hardest things to accurately replicate in as far as video game physics go are hair physics and pinball.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason that video game characters in a lot of AAA games tend to have either, if they have long hair, it's in a ponytail, or they just have short hair.
Yeah.
It's because animating long hair physics is not worth the effort.
Nope.
Got it. Here we go.
That's also the reason why it took until Brave for Pixar, you know, the king of CG animation, to make a movie that had a main character with long, flowing hair.
Here we go. Okay. Got it.
Like, even with Violet in The Incredibles, they tried to avoid action scenes that would result in her hair moving a lot, because that would be too difficult for them to animate in a movie where they were also just then figuring out how to model and animate humans for the first time in an extended capacity. Like, obviously, they had
fair.
humans in Toy Story and Finding Nemo and Monsters, Inc. before, but they were usually kept to a minimum in terms of their screen time, and they were side characters in the story that you didn't have to center the entire narrative around.
Yeah.
Got it. Level up. Here we go.
Like, I remember when Pixar was showing some behind-the-scenes stuff for The Incredibles on Disney Channel, they showed, like, their whole method of creating so many human characters for one movie. And it was a pretty intriguing method for creating an entire populace of human characters, but it's obviously something they wouldn't do nowadays. Which is, they had, like, a base model that they referred to as the Universal Man, and they would just alter that model to create different characters.
Here we go.
Like, basically, it was a character creator in a video game to create everyone in the movie.
Leave it to me.
Fair.
Let's go. Let's go. Yay. Let's go.
Got it. Here we go.
Leave it to
Got
me.
it.
Yeah, I know it's not this kid's fault, but you know that Tails voice is so annoying.
I'm pretty sure if you were to ask, I would say the kid, but he's obviously not a kid anymore. I'm pretty sure if you were to ask that person nowadays what they think of their Tails performance, they would agree that was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like, that is the fun thing about a lot of voice actors. They will, hey, Shadow Dragon. That's the fun thing about a lot of voice actors, especially in video games and anime, is a lot of times they'll be 100% upfront. Yeah, that was absolute shit.
Yep. Like if there's anything like I can go back to like in my own voice acting career,
Shadow Toy Agumon, right?
Yep, shout out to Agumon. Like, what the fuck was I thinking with that damn voice?
Yeah, I told you to do pirate, and you went Scottish with it.
Yeah.
Sonic Spinball. Sonic Spinball is the worst controlling of the pinball physics in Sonic games.
That's about it.
Like, it's an entire pinball-focused game that does not function like a pinball game should, so it just feels like shit to play. It's the reason why it's the only Sonic game on the Genesis that I have, apart from Sonic from Knuckles Chaotix, because I don't have much experience with that one yet, that I have not beaten because I just can't vibe with its physics. It doesn't feel right. It feels actively painful for me to play. Like, it's trying to be a pinball game and a platformer, and it's succeeding at neither. But hey, at least it did give us a decent episode of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's been a while since you and your brothers played it. Like, the main thing is, the main thing that makes it bad for me to play, I've known people who like Sonic Spinball. The thing is, I really like real-life pinball machines. So, I'm very susceptible to noticing flaws in pinball physics in not just Sonic, but in video games in general.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy a lot of pinball video games or pinball sections in video games, because pinball, as I've said earlier in the stream, but I'll say it again for you, Shadow Dragon, since you just got here. Pinball in video games is one of the hardest things to accurately replicate in a video game, because all of the elements of it have to work 100% correctly, or else the whole thing feels off. Probably, like, Sonic Spinball is probably the worst in terms of Sonic games that have done pinball, but, the worst pinball section I've ever played in a game so far would be the, optional Balls of Steel pinball tables from, Duke Nukem Forever, where, the pinball physics are tied to the frame rate. Why would you do that? Why would you also make it the only section of the console game, of the console ports that runs at 60 FPS?
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
But yeah, Ari, if we ever manage to do a Bridgemont Frontier ever again,
I've thought about it. The main thing is trying to do it in a way that makes it less susceptible to get copyright nuked by Toei, which would mostly require either original music or finding a way to get, like, isolated tracks of the dub score.
Yeah. But yeah, like, if we were ever to get, to go back and redo that show, I would totally do a different voice for Shadow Toy Agumon.
Well, I would also write the episodes we did completely differently to begin with. We would not be doing the same story from beginning to end.
Obviously not, but
Timo,
I'm just saying,
I know if we ever redo a Bridgemon Frontier, you are definitely the first person I'm asking to audition for Ophanimon, because your natural voice is already very fitting for that, for how she's voiced in both Japanese and in the dub.
I agree, actually. I've heard Ophanimon's
and
voice.
Hearing some of your range, I might also put you up for a couple other characters as well, for at least auditions. Because Frontier's got a pretty, not sizable female cast, but it's got a decent amount of recurring female characters for a lot of its run. Like, you know, obviously Zoe being one of the main Digidestined of the season and being the only girl of the group, as well as her 2 Digivolved forms, which I would go with the Japanese naming for the characters and their Digimon forms in a redone Abridgimon Frontier, just being more faithful to the Japanese script instead of trying to have a best of both worlds of the dub and the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Even though I grew up with the dub, I'm not like, you know, a Japanese purist when it comes to Digimon. It's just, I think that would help make it stand out a bit.
Yeah. It's just with Kazemon, it's like, it sounds more Japanese, whereas like in Japan it was...
In Japan, in Japan it's Fairymon, but like, that's because all of the legendary warriors in the Japanese version, or at least from the main hero group, and not counting the villain group, are named like based on different kinds of mythology, and it's mythology from various cultures. So they have like culturally appropriate names. Like Agunimon is supposed to be Agnimon, and Agni is like a fire spirit in, I believe, Hinduism.
Oh, okay. See, that's not something I knew.
And like it doesn't 100% carry over into all of Koji's forms, but like a lot of his forms are based off of like Germanic mythology and like the epic of Beowulf.
Oh yeah.
Like Beowulfmon, do I need to say any more?
Fair.
But I don't believe Beowulfmon's even called Beowulfmon in the Japanese version. Like, I know Kendo Garurumon, despite looking like part of the Garurumon line, is not a Garurumon in the Japanese version. He's called Garmmon. Got it. And Lobomon is called Wolfmon, and all of his attack names are in German.
Oh. Got it.
And that carries over into Koichi's forms, with all of his attack names being in German, and all of his Digimon having German names.
Yeah, like I think for his beast form, it's Kaiser Leomon. I think that's one of them.
It's Kaiser Leomon, tying it in with the Leomon line, and his human spirit is Loemon.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Kier. I'm glad
Kier,
you had a chat
text?
with a good old buddy.
Sorry.
And then probably the one that's lost in translation the most is Tommy. At least his human spirit. Because it's not supposed to be like just a teddy bear. It's supposed to be a reference to Gundam.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Like, it's like a teddy bear snowman version of a Zaku, I believe. Or like a specific mobile suit from the Gundam franchise. Which is interesting because Toei didn't have anything to do with Gundam at that point.
Yeah. That wasn't the
but
one of their brands.
Well, then again, Bandai owes Digimon, and they own the toy rights to Gundam, so could be that.
Yeah.
And then another one that's very lost in translation is JP's Digimon forms, which are all named after stuff in Norse mythology. Like
Beetlemon, for instance,
like Beetlemon is
Kabuterimon.
Blitzmon, which that
makes sense.
Ties in with the thunder theming, and his attacks include things like Mjolnir Strike. And then his beast form, instead of Metal Kabuterimon, is Bolgmon. I would also rewrite a lot of the character personalities from the ground up.
Yeah.
One thing is I wouldn't be as like, spitefully mean to JP. Because, like, a lot of the humor of A Bridgemon Frontier revolved around the heroes are assholes, and that can work, but I think we went too far with the asshole part while downplaying the hero part.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I mean, I was just thrilled to actually be on the project for, however
Yeah,
little time
it was your first voice acting project, I believe.
Yep, was my first. It's what, you and Ferd are the ones who actually got me into doing voice acting in the first place. Ferd introduced me to you, and then you got me into doing voice acting in general.
And thus the bromance of a lifetime began.
Yep.
You say no homo, I say all the homo.
Honestly, whatever at this point.
Eggman. Why not have some fun?
Kier has 3 consecutive streams and said JKR stole my pants again.
I did not
JKR,
steal
your
your
response.
pants.
I did not steal his pants. I did not steal his pants. It's bullshit. I did not steal his pants. I did not.
I'll take care of him myself.
Yeah, but if I stole
the
his
loading
pants,
logo
then...
behind JKR looks like the cops are after him. Who says they're not? We know at least one caped vigilante is after him.
Smash them all.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, like, I want to be able to do more stuff under the Paradox banner again, but I understand that.
The main thing is I just haven't gotten around to editing the next episode of Transformers Armada Bridge, and I've told Fringivore that after this episode I'm going to step down as editor because I just can't handle the workload for it anymore.
That's fair, dude.
Ready anytime.
It's not necessarily that it's like Armada Bridge in particular that's a particularly hard thing for me to do. It's more so that I'm the sole video editor for Armada Bridge, while I don't do the sound effects and music, but still,
right.
While I'm also the sole editor for my reviews and putting my streams into VODs and thinking about taking up like editing commissions on the side so I can try and monetize some aspect of all this work that I'm putting in.
Exactly.
So I just need to cut out something somewhere, and I decided I'm going to cut out the one that happens the least frequently.
Yeah.
And is also like the most intensive that I do. That's also like low-key outside of my skill set.
That's fair.
Because like a lot of the creative edits that I want to do would require more education on my part that I currently can't get.
Yeah.
Because I just found out that the reason that they weren't doing the digital effects and animation technologies courses that I signed up for this semester is because the head of the department quit over the summer.
Oh.
And they haven't found someone to replace them yet.
Oh, boy.
Like, they're still offering them, but they're online only, and I do not vibe with online classes because I get too easily distracted when I'm at home, expected to be doing schoolwork in a live class. I am surrounded by distractions.
Yeah. No,
I've done it before, and it went horribly.
Yeah, same.
I am on a device that is loaded with distractions.
Yep. Yeah, for me, what I do is like
it's also the aspect of like I work better with in-person classes because if I need the professor to like look over something to make sure I'm doing stuff right, it's easier to just like get their attention in person than to have to speak over a dozen or so other people all in one voice call.
Yeah. Like, one of the things I've been doing is I take one, and only one, class that's online, and I take that up with my school, but I specifically take it in, the school's access center, for multiple reasons. One, it's more or less distraction-free, but also because, for the reason I've mentioned this before, that the school's bandwidth is just so bad because there's so many people using it.
Yeah.
That it's a more stable connection for me to stay on the call if I'm actually on a desktop rather than a laptop.
Like from the looks of it, with my school's current situation, it's looking like less of a question of when will I be able to take the classes I went there for again, and more like, am I going to have to look for a different school entirely?
Yeah. That sucks.
It really sucks, because I like the professors that I've met there. I like the environment. The staff is very helpful with the specific needs that I have due to my disabilities.
Right.
It's just, like, the usual bureaucratic bullshit of devaluing the arts departments over everything else.
Yep. But yeah, Kier, I don't know if you got my text or not.
Got it. Not bad.
Rail Canyon is the stage that gives me... Rail Canyon and its companion stage, what's it called again? Bullet Station or something like that? I can't remember. These two stages give me the most anxiety out of all the stages in Sonic Heroes, because it's like no other stage, not counting the final stage in the game, but it's expected that the final stage would be the hardest, takes place entirely over a bottomless pit, and entirely relies on rail grinding, which in Sonic Heroes is not very good.
Yeah, no.
Like, it was good in Sonic Adventure 2, if a little in need of refinement. Sonic Heroes has like really loose physics that makes it really easy to overshoot or undershoot where you're trying to land, and that's part of what makes the rail grinding section so fucking terrifying for me. Not terrifying in like a scary way, but like I'm going to fuck this up massively and it's not going to be my fault way.
Yeah.
And then rail grinding and Shadow the Hedgehog, I think, is where they perfected it. That's my hot take. Shadow the Hedgehog did rail grinding better than almost any other 3D Sonic game. And Sonic 06 fucked it up again by having like no physics to the rail grinding.
Yes.
And then from that point onward, they just treated rail grinding as like an automated thing, like it is in Ratchet and Clank, where it feels less like you having to actively grind on the rail and like maintain your balance and keep up with speed, and more like a glorified QuickTime event. Like, we need to make the stage longer, but we can't afford any more action set pieces, so we'll just put in a rail grinding section to give the illusion of actual gameplay. That rail grinding sections in Ratchet and Clank are my least favorite parts of Ratchet and Clank. And they're my least favorite parts of modern Sonic games, because you don't need to put any effort to the grinding. It just handles everything itself, so it doesn't feel like gameplay. It feels like the developers ran out of time or ran out of ideas, or maybe both.
Yeah.
It gets especially bad in Sonic Lost World, where we have not one, but 2 stages that are entirely rail grinding, that is also automated, but is also bad. And I'm dreading getting to Sonic Lost World for this Sonic retrospective, not just because, you know, I have to deal with the bullshit writing of that era, but also because Sonic Lost World is just like the blandest of that era of Sonic games. Like, it's very much the we're trying to make it into Mario, but without the character and charm of Mario. Like, even down to the level themes being just stuff you would see in your average Mario game, as opposed to something you would expect from Sonic.
Yeah.
What would I play Sonic Lost World on? I've got a Wii U, dude. I would play it on the Wii U. That's the best way to play it. Even better than the PC version. Because the PC version cuts out anything that makes use of the gamepad. And as a result, means that it forces you to grind in order to progress. Not grind as in, you know, the rail grinding I was just bitching about, but grind as in, like, in order to unlock later stages, you have to collect a certain amount of animals rescued from defeated badniks and broken capsules. And in Sonic Lost World on the Wii U, they had a built-in way to cut back on the grinding by, like, incentivizing you to collect the red star rings that are scattered throughout the stages for more than just 100% completion, because when you collected a certain amount, you would start unlocking circus mini-games played on the tablet, where you could earn boatloads of animals and skip out on the grinding. Whereas in the PC version, they cut that out instead of trying to find a way to make it work without the gamepad. And as a result, the game's more tedious to play because now you have to play the same few stages over and over again before you can progress.
Oh, jeez.
Leave it to me. Let's go. Let's go. Whee! Let's go. Level up. Yay!
Got it.
Like, Sonic Lost World could do with
Level up.
not just a remaster, but, like, a remaster that goes in and touches up anything that makes extensive use of the gamepad so we don't have another scenario like that. Like, it still wouldn't be a good game. You know, my hot take is that we shouldn't only preserve the good games through remasters and re-releases, but it would be the best way to play this bad game without having to track down a console that you probably don't want for much else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a long-winded way to say if I streamed Lost World, I would do it on, I would play it on my Wii U, because it is the least painful way of playing that bad game. Like, of course, I wouldn't play the 3DS version because that one has special stages in it that require you to use the gyro sensors in the 3DS and, like, twist and turn all over the place. And one, I don't have a 3DS capture unit, so that would be a bitch to do in the first place. And two, that would be impossible to do while on stream, because in order to use the 3DS capture unit, you have to, you know, stay in place, because your 3DS is plugged in the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I question the entire design process behind the 3DS version of Lost World. Because it's like, ah, yes, let's give special stages. What the fuck just happened? It's like, let's add special stages to the game, and let's you know, for this portable console that is meant to be played on the go. And let's make the special stages entirely controlled through having to move around when this console is designed to be played from a seated position where you're not going to be moving all over the place.
Right.
Like, the most comfortable way I could think of to play the special stages from a seated position would be to play it in an office chair that spins around.
Oh, yeah.
And not just because it's fun to spin around in an office chair, but because that way you could rotate like it demands of you without having to get up out of your seat.
Yeah.
Okay, time for the other obligatory joke that you have to make with the repeated voice lines in this game. Hey, Tails, what's your favorite Nintendo console?
Yep.
Okay, I heard you the first time, Tails. Shut the fuck up. Probably the most unique take on that obvious joke that I've seen. I believe it came from Cat Icarus in one of his old videos, where, like, he asked a question to Tails, and his answer was oui, as in the French word for yes.
Ouch. Yeah.
And he, like, photoshopped, like, a beret on him and gave him a little mustache and a baguette.
Yes!
By the way, if you want to see my favorite parody of French music, that only requires, like, a beginner-level understanding of French, look up the song Fudu Fa Fa by Flight of the Conchords. Because, like, the whole gag is that they're trying to riz these two girls with their French skills, but they're just saying, like, stuff you learn in a middle school French class.
Ouch.
God, I hate these special stages so much. The half pipe is already bad enough in 2D Sonic. It gets worse in 3D. Especially when it's no longer a half pipe, it's a full 360 degrees with extremely twitchy controls.
Yep.
Like, I don't know why Sega and Sonic Team keep bringing back the half pipe in later Sonic games when that was the second worst of the classic Sonic special stages. The worst, of course, being the Sonic 1 special stages, which they also keep bringing back. Like, just give me blue spheres or, like the UFOs from, Sonic CD. And Sonic Mania knew to do that. It's the only one that knew to do that.
Yeah.
Blue spheres for the win. Hell yeah. Like, I am the person who genuinely boots up the, infinite level blue spheres, game you get by locking Sonic and Knuckles onto Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and plays it for extended periods just because I like blue spheres that much. It's not literally endless. There is a definite end to it, but it's impossible for us to reach within a human lifespan because, it's like in a best case scenario where you get it perfect on your first try with the quickest route possible, it would take over 300 years to play it from start to finish.
Oh, jeez.
That's how many stages are in the Blue Spheres minigame from the Sonic 1 lock-on.
Damn.
It's because we're getting closer to the center. I guess we're heading in the right direction.
Leave it to Dave.
Like, that is how long it takes to complete that game, and also how long it takes to get the absolute worst, but at the same time easiest ending in the original NES Metroid. If you're not aware of what I'm talking about, there is, like, the way that the passwords work in NES Metroid is you're basically programming the game through hex values and telling it what game state it is to load up when you enter the password, right?
Okay.
Because the original Famicom release, or Famicom Disk System, I should say, release of Metroid had, you know, just a save system. But since they took that out in the NES version, they replaced it with really genius password system in hindsight that basically acts as like beginner level programming. But what's funny about it is that seemingly random phrases can like break the game in various states. Like the one that I'm talking about is if you enter the password mother brain fucking toast as a password, you start at the last stage of the game, but Mother Brain is already dead, and like as soon as you get to Mother Brain, the escape timer starts. And then when you get to the end credits, instead of Samus taking off her suit like she's supposed to, she turns her back to the camera and cries. It's like something out of a creepypasta. But actually happens when you enter that specific password into the NES Metroid password screen.
Oh, jeez.
And the reason it's doing that is because the state that's loading up is like the game has an internal tick counter that works as its way of telling how fast you beat the game.
Yeah.
And it runs when you enter that password, it loads up a game state that has been running for like an unreasonably long amount of ticks. And as a result, it adds up to having played one run of the game from start to finish for over 300 years, which results in the worst ending and also breaks the game's code by accidentally unloading Mother Brain.
Oh boy.
And it's just complete coincidence that it ties up with the password Mother Brain fucking toast. There's another one where it's like engage Ridley motherfucker just breaks the game entirely to the point where you can't progress past the very first screen of the game because it's either the game will crash 9 times out of 10, or if it doesn't crash, it'll load up in a corrupted state where the screen does not scroll, it instead loops, so you can't progress past the opening screen, whether you go left or right. And it also corrupts the color palette. And for the longest time, if you played the 3DS Virtual Console version of Metroid and entered that password, it would unintentionally brick your 3DS.
Oh, jeez.
Because it doesn't just crash the game, it crashes the hardware it's playing on.
Oops.
But thankfully, they figured that out and released a patch for it that fixes that horrible bug.
Yeah, they could.
Like, how did you break it? Like, imagine you're on the phone with Nintendo customer support, and it's like, and how did you break your 3DS, sir? Let's see if that's covered under our warranty. I was playing Metroid. I entered a password that had the fuck word in it.
Hey, let's try firing
and it bricked my 3DS, and this is apparently a widespread issue.
No.
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you why you were entering swears into the password screen. In my defense, why wouldn't you?
Got it. Here we go. Okay, which way is the cannon facing? Hey. All right. All right. Level up.
Level up.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
In my defense, Mr. Nintendo Customer Support Representative, I grew up playing Spider-Man on the PS1, and that one has an Easter egg if you enter naughty words as passwords, and I thought it would be something funny like that. I gambled and I lost, and I found out that I should not gamble in general. That's also why the Mafia is currently after me and why I'm in the witness protection program.
Oh, jeez.
If anyone asks you what my name is Robert Savino. And I have never been to Atlantic City.
Oh, well, neither have I.
Try going down there. Take this.
Leave it to me.
Got it. Shit, rah. Shit, rah, shit. Here we go.
You know how, you want to know what I think probably, like, completely unrelated to Sonic and video games in general?
Got it. Take this.
You want to know what,
Let's go.
I see what you did there, Kier.
Got it.
You want to know what, in my opinion, would be,
Let's go.
the easiest job in the world? In the entertainment industry, at least.
What?
Being any member of Maroon 5 who isn't named Adam Levine. Think about it. They don't even use real instruments in their songs anymore.
Yeah.
So, being like the bassist for Maroon 5 has got to be the easiest, like, the easiest mansion you've ever earned.
Here we go.
Leave it to me.
I've said it like maybe 3 times. This is gonna be the 3rd time I've said it. Here, did you get my text that I sent you? I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Leave it to me.
Got it.
Joke's on you, my car doesn't have an extended warranty because, it's from 2002. I don't think warranties last that long. I don't drive that car anymore. I don't think we even have it anymore, but it was my first car.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers their first car. It was a 2002 Jeep Liberty.
Got it.
That by the time I got my current car, it was barely clinging on to life. It had already had its engine replaced.
Yep.
And by that point, you might as well just buy a whole new car. But my mom was like, no, this car is still good.
Be careful not to fall.
Yeah.
Got it.
Level up.
Here we go.
Leave it to me. Let's go.
Okay. Got it. Here we go.
Leave it to me.
The great irony of, no, this car is still good, is that she gave the car to me after she got herself a new car.
Yep.
So it's like,
right.
oh, so it's good enough for me, but not for you. I see how it is.
Yeah.
I gotta make do with the car that's over a decade old and doesn't even have a CD player in it. So I have to find increasingly convoluted ways to even play my music on it, so I don't have to listen to the terrible local stations. But you get a new car whenever you want. I see how it is. I see this two-tiered justice system. I don't think it was her being, like, selfish or anything. I think it was, with, you know, half joking, I think it was her teaching me how the justice system in America truly works. Or just how everything in America truly works.
Right.
I would love to get a warranty on your Hot Wheels Chevy Lumia. God, I can't even remember what Hot Wheels I had as a kid. I don't think I got, like, specific Hot Wheels cars of, like, specific makes and models as a kid. I just got the ones that were cool. Like, I've never been a car enthusiast. I've always, just been I've always just gravitated to cars that are aesthetically pleasing to me. Or that are featured in James Bond movies. You had a Hot Wheels speed tracker back then? I don't know what that is, unless you mean, like, the Mach 5. Unless you're trying to say Speed Racer, in which case that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember much of my Hot Wheels stuff. I don't think most of them were even real Hot Wheels. They were probably... Given that I got a lot of gifts from extended family that were in various states of poverty, they were probably not officially licensed Hot Wheels.
Hell yeah. So basically you're saying that they were
probably something... They were probably either, like, you know, the ones you get at the dollar store, or, worse, Matchbox.
Oh, God.
I had, like, the weirdest collection of toys as a kid, because not just because I got, like, some weird stuff as hand-me-downs from older family members, but also because and not only because my family would buy me weird stuff that I've never heard of and haven't been able to track down since, but also because I was just into series that no one remembers nowadays.
Yeah.
And when I bring them up as, like, I had toys of this as a kid, they're like, are you sure that existed? Like, one that I actively collected for the short time it was around was toys from the Fox Kids TV show NASCAR Racers. Not like, you know, replicas of official NASCAR cars. No, there was a Fox Kids, like, action cartoon called NASCAR Racers.
I've never heard of that show.
They had transforming cars that had, like, battle modes, and it was the coolest fucking thing to my southern ass. My southern ass who grew up as a fan of Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt, and who had family that had personally known Rusty Wallace. The best thing about NASCAR names is that you can't make up one that sounds too fake, because all the NASCAR racer names sound fake to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, it's a name that's impossible to make a parody of, because they all sound fake. They all sound like parodies of themselves.
Yep.
That's just how NASCAR is.
Yeah. It is unfortunate, but it is the truth.
Level up! That must be Eggman's base straight ahead of us.
This aired, I believe this aired a good while. Yeah, this did air a good while before F-Zero GP Legends, during its initial run at least. Because it was before 4Kids had taken over all of the production of shows for Fox's kid entertainment block. This was when like Saban was still primarily the one behind that. So like the only 4Kids produce, I don't think they even had any 4Kids produced things on at that time. Yes! I'll have to look up that. I'll have to look it up. This was in that weird. To give you an idea of when this is when like that extreme sports craze was going on, the late '90s, early 2000s. This like it wasn't. I don't think it was Foxbox era. I think it was still called Fox Kids. Like it was when there was like, you know, other shows that were on at the time, not necessarily on Fox Kids, but in general were like Action Man and the original Max Steel.
I remember the original Max Steel. I've seen
you know, when we got all these shows based loosely around extreme sports because everyone was into like Tony Hawk and Shaun White and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Dave Mira and Matt Hoffman. Funnily, this is a funny story for me, is that a lot of people remember Matt Hoffman as, I believe he was like pro BMX. But I went to high school with a kid who happened to also be named Matt Hoffman. Completely unrelated to the famous Matt Hoffman.
Oh, geez. So it was just complete coincidence.
Yeah, it's like how Scott the Woz has confirmed that despite his last name being Wozniak, he does not have any relation to the Apple co-creator and severely screwed over by Steve Jobs' genius, Steve Wozniak.
Yeah.
Not bad. Leave it to me.
They just both happen to have a very common Polish last name. Or at least I think it's common. I don't know. I don't know Polish. Do I look like someone who's bilingual? Yes. The answer is yes. Although I'm bilingual in the same way that someone accused Elvira of being bilingual in one episode of Elvira's movie Macabre.
Oh, jeez.
She hung up on them and called them a pervert for calling her to ask if she was bilingual.
Leave it to me.
The joke is Elvira's a ditz.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why we love Elvira. That's one of the reasons why we love Elvira.
I'll destroy them all. Here we go.
Hell, my sign-off catchphrase is taken from her sign-off catchphrase. Unpleasant dreams.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
Then it actually is fitting when I do the whole where the boys of chorus bit, because that is something that Svengoolie
That's from
does.
Svengoolie, yeah.
Yeah, like that plays right after Svengoolie does the closing joke when he's trying to wind up the program. Like,
Speaking of Svengoolie, some old, very old Svengoolie ads were in one of the more recent Vinesauce commercial chaos streams.
Oh?
Is that it?
And Vinny was like confused about whether it was the real Svengoolie or not, because it's from when he was going as son of Svengoolie.
Right. After he'd taken over
because he's not the original Svengoolie. He led a revival of the show after the original Svengoolie was canceled.
Eggman.
Yeah.
And he originally called himself son of Svengoolie before inheriting the Svengoolie title.
Yeah, because it was like Jerry T. Bishop flat out told the guy, "Is like, hey, look, you're a grown ass man now. You're not the son anymore. You've grown to the top end. You might as well just take on the title as Svengoolie now."
From these canyons, watch as I conquer the
Get ready to hear a bit of what I base my Neo Metal Sonic voice in the comic dub from.
Sonic!
It's not an Eggman robot.
Not Tails there. Here we go.
All life form data successfully copied.
Nice.
It's the way that the Metal Sonic voice was done in Sonic Heroes, which, you know, also the only time so far that Metal Sonic has spoken in a game.
Right.
He's voiced by Ryan Drummond, who also voices Sonic. I'm gonna pause here because we're gonna wrap things up in just a bit, because I am still sick and I need to get my rest. But I wanted to get in at least one more stream. I say at least, it's the end of the week.
Yep.
Ryan Drummond did his Sonic voice, but a more menacing take on it. And then they pitch shifted it and electronically modulated it to make it sound robotic.
Nice.
If you go on YouTube and look it up, you can hear Metal Sonic's unfiltered audio. It's just like Sonic if he were, you know, trying to sound threatening instead of trying to sound loose and carefree.
Nice.
So, like, as a result, we've got a little bit of we've got my impression of Ryan Drummond in some form in the upcoming comic dub.
Yeah.
Along with Cringivore's take on Sonic, which I believe is influenced by, probably Jason Griffith, given his age.
Probably.
Although I believe he's also into, like, other Sonic stuff, too, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I have to talk to him again sometime for something that's not work-related.
Same here.
But that's where we're going to wrap things up tonight. Let me get us out of the void. Void. Let's see if there's any raid targets online.
Of course, there's an ad break. Right when we're wrapping things up.
It's okay. I'll keep it going for like a minute straight.
Yeah. Let's see.
You know what? Because we've been, you know, kind of unhinged and like no filter tonight, I'm sending you guys to Nini. She's doing ASMR as she is wont to do. Looks like on her menu is mostly like kissy sounds and just general mommy vibes. So
Nice.
Enjoy. Or, you know, be squicked out if you don't like ASMR.
Yeah.
All right. So, with that being said, I'll give Nini a warm welcome from my community. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to JKR for co-hosting with me tonight. Stay tuned for the schedule, which is probably going to be in flux depending on how I feel. I'll see you guys next time. And until then, unpleasant dreams. Now let's see whether JKR gets cut off or not this time.
Well, where the boys have
Too
called
late.
us.